Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
The Houston Astros are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
This is the Legends 34 Sports Podcast with your hosts, K. Reno and DJ Rec.
Alrighty, Legends 34 Sports Podcast, Episode 3. Another K. Reno, me, DJ Rec. And we got Eric Garcia with us today, helping us technically. And also, we're honored, we're privileged to have and help out Reggie Clark, filling for Eddie today. And hopefully in a future show, we're going to have some more about Reggie and his notorious, or we should say infamous, cousin Anthony Clark, who was once world's strongest man, right?
Yep.
Used to wrestle bears.
Wrestle bears, pick up Toyotas like they were, little Tonka trucks, and just walk with them. I mean, it was a trip to see, bro.
You said you found some posters recently. Maybe we're going to do hopefully a future tribute to Anthony, man. Yeah. That's going to be really wonderful.
Let's get it
man,
on.
We don't need to forget people like this,
without
right?
a doubt, without a doubt.
Right.
You got to make the world know.
Current events, man. What's going on in the world of the NBA, man? We got the midseason. Well, we got the play-in, right, tonight?
Yeah, the play-in tonight. But, I want to shout out to the Rockets. I want to give a shout-out to my squad because we had basically about a 19-game improvement over last season win total. And just missed the play-in by a few games. They was in it all the way up until the end. Mm-hmm. And really, when you look at it, man, I can go through the schedule and find 7 games that they should have won, that they had won.
Right, they were up big and squandered.
Where had they won those 7 games, they would be probably 7 or 8 seed. So, it's just a learning experience from a young team to know how to finish out games and win games that you're supposed to win. But to finish 41-41 in a super, super tough Western Conference.
Yes, sir.
The Western Conference this year was probably as competitive and even as I've seen it in a long while. Because the Rockets at 41-41, number 11, they're on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
If they had that record, they was in the East.
They would have been in.
They've been in. So, I mean, it's just tough in that conference, but we got some reinforcements coming this year, man. So I just want to shout out my squad. But, yeah, the playoffs is getting ready to pop off. The play-in is going on right about now as we speak now. And, we'll see what happens.
And give the man his flowers, the coach, Udoka.
Yeah, man.
We wouldn't be here without him, right?
Yeah.
He taught these young men how to play defense and stay in front of people.
People talk about culture all the time. He changed the culture of this team. He held everybody accountable. He got in guys' faces when need be.
Got in LeBron's faces when
he needed to do so. So and I think even with that you mentioned that was more so like a strategy to show his team, look, man, because young players can have a tendency to be starstruck by the other great players in the league. So you seeing a LeBron, you seeing a Steph. And then if you're not playing hard against these dudes, sometimes the coach got to look and say, hey, man, you in the league too.
Right.
We trying to beat this dude. We don't need you smiling and grinning up to this dude. So the coach just, to me, that night gave an example of like, I talked to him crazy so y'all can see it.
Right.
Take all of that starstruck crap out of y'all's system.
And again, they're still young, these players, these are 2-3 year players, man. And they have so much to learn, and it's a learning curve, but they're
to get that close, man. Because like I say, we wasted 3 years.
Yeah.
The last 3 years was it set us back Udoka was in Boston at the time, of course, before his situation. But had we had a coach like him or him from the beginning, from the time they drafted Jalen and Şengün and all those guys, I think they'd already be a playoff team.
Right.
Already be established as a legit playoff team in the West. So next year's a year I'm looking forward to next year with the guys we're gonna bring in and the guys that are coming back off injury, man. I'm to use an old school 90s word, I'm crunk for next year, man. Straight up.
And it's good to have that fever again for Rockets, and we've struggled for so long, too long. It's like the Texans, we've been in the doldrums.
Yeah.
This rebuilding phase, but I did want to mention. I mentioned this a little bit on the last show about Amen Thompson, who was, help me out, 4th pick.
Yeah, number 4.
Right. He's a hell of a rebounder. Again, we're in a league where everybody's trying to push these players out past the 3-point line, out 30 feet. Maybe this dude's the next Dennis Rodman. We don't know it. This dude getting 10 rebounds. How old is he? 19, 20. Yeah. That's not an easy feat, man. Out of position at that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
See, the best thing that I think happened to him was the situation where he had to play behind Fred VanVleet because he'd been on the ball his whole life. And had we not had Fred, I think at the number 4 pick, he would have automatically been put in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Which would have put him on the ball. And he would have had to learn how to run an offense. But he had to figure out a different way to play because he was coming off the bench and he's not that guy. So now he lays low on the baseline. He runs the floor. And say he's rebound. He got quick springs. He gets off his feet real fast. And I think he may have known that he had that rebound ability, but I don't think the rest of the league knew.
Right.
And the fans definitely didn't know. So so he's going to be one of those guys. Once he figures out how to play in this league, he's going to be one of those guys who every night is a threat to get a triple-double.
Right.
He's going to be that guy, and he does need to develop a mid-range to 3-point shot because right now that's non-existent for him. But if he can get that little 12, 15, 18, and then eventually, ain't no rush to be no 3-point shooter. He ain't got to become no great 3-point shooter, but he should use the summer to get about 1,000 up a day of just shots, period. But if he can get that mid-range mastered, it's going to be a problem.
Right.
Because I'm like I said, I wasn't a big fan of that draft pick. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and act like I was just pumping my fist when they drafted him. But looking at it now, oh, yeah, he ready to rock it.
Another silver lining is Şengün. He went down late in the season, and Thompson got his opportunity, right? To get in the paint.
Yeah.
But Şengün next year should be an all-star, I would think.
He should have been one this year.
Right.
Yeah, see, it's literally a popularity contest because the fans are going to vote the starters.
Yeah.
But the coaches and all that vote in the reserves, for whatever reason, I think it's still a popularity and a seniority contest with the coaches because I think Sabonis got in instead of him or some other guys got in. But man, the numbers tell that those are all-star numbers.
You old school, would you go back to the old system of all-star, or do you like this new
position,
system?
you mean? Or just
I'm honestly, I'm lost. I can't remember how it's done now. I believe it's
positionless now.
Right, they have 2 captains, and they pick from either side.
Yeah.
Right now, are they still doing that?
Yeah. What they did go back to this season, they went back to East versus West. They
good.
hadn't done that in a while.
Like
it was mixed all up to where one season Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were playing against each other, which it's interesting to see.
Right.
But I'm a purist. I like the old East versus West.
Me too.
I like that they went back to that. But
it's still voted by fans.
Yeah, the starters. The starters are voted in by the fans. Sometimes that's not even good because, the fans, they be misinformed sometimes. So they'll vote some guy in or vote for some guy. Some guy may get 300,000 votes that comes off the bench or something. He's just a fan favorite. But
this the part where we blush and say, Yao Ming.
The years y'all played, but y'all was an all-star player though.
I agree.
Now,
but he did get 3 billion.
Of course, you got China voting for you. Okay, as a starter, but I'm talking about guys who are not even all-star caliber.
Right,
and somehow they like them in that city, and they managed to get some votes. But I like the way that they went back to East versus West. They need to keep that going. But they need to add 3 more spots because it's 15 players on the roster now. You know, it's not 12. So you need 15 spots so 15 guys can actually make the team. And I think that will help in those situations where guys who may have gotten slighted will get in, or a guy who gets slighted don't got to wait on somebody to get injured and then be a replacement or something like that. So,
well, I mean, how it's the temperature of the playoffs this year. Who are your favorites? You're saying Denver again?
Let me tell you, man.
This is the Celtics' year finally.
I believe that Boston is going to win the championship, but I also remember that Denver went 2-0 against them in the regular season. They went in Boston and beat them. Now, of course, playoff is different. That don't mean anything, but just the psychological effect of that, where these guys come into your building and beat you already, then if y'all do meet down the line, you know, that could make a difference. But I'm picking Boston to win it all. They just more complete. Adding Drew Holiday and Porzingis, that like elevated them in my opinion, with Tatum and Brown and all those other guys, man. So I think they'll win it. The West is going to be
knockdown, drag out.
Yeah, that's going to be because all these like Dallas and the Clippers in the first round.
Right.
that's going to be crazy. So you got, and then look, and I'm picking the Clippers to win that series just on star power alone. Stop
there for a minute, right? Here you go. Great to have the discussion with a basketball mind. How many potential Hall of Famers are on the Clippers squad?
It's 4 automatically, 4 off the rip. You Westbrook, Harden, Kawhi, and Paul George. You pencil those guys in.
Gordon potentially a Hall of Famer?
Nah.
You don't think Eric Gordon? He is a 3-point. He won a 3-point contest.
Yeah, but he's not going to be a Hall of Fame because just for the fact that he spent so much of his career just injured. He spent so much of his career coming off the bench.
Right.
And he'll have good numbers because he's a natural scorer. But Hall of Fame, the only way I could see him even getting consideration, it would have to be so many years after he's retired. Right. And then they finally look and say, okay, you know, who can we put on the ballot this year? And they look at his numbers and may throw him in.
It's food for thought, though. You got 4, maybe
4 automatic.
5 arguably, but still, this is their time, if not bust.
Yeah, they got to stay healthy because Kawhi got hurt in the playoffs last year, you know, and that's kind of what happens. But Luka and Kyrie, they playing so good. They finally found that chemistry with each other where they playing good together, man.
Right.
But I just I feel like they're going to need one more guy to step up and be that consistent player every night in the playoffs. They got 2 guys that you could pencil Luka and Kyrie in for 25, 30, or 40, whatever they're going to get. But who is that third guy? Who's going to be that third guy? They've got people like Tim Hardaway Jr. He's not going to be a third guy.
Right.
Dante Exum looked good coming down the stretch. Who knows? I don't know. I think the Clippers got too much. Clippers got size. They got 3 big men, 3 6'10", 7 feet guys in the middle. They got, like you say, they got Powell coming off the bench, and also just to clarify, Gordon plays for Phoenix. He's not with the Clippers. He was,
that's right.
He was with the Clippers last year, but they still got Norman Powell, who's a 6th Man of the Year candidate this year. And they got
Powell. There you go.
Yeah,
that's
they got Terrence Mann.
That's right.
That can come out the bench and score. They got some players, man. So I think that the Clippers are the that team that could either bust and fizzle out, or they could go all the way. Because I'm looking at who matches up with Denver when it comes down. Denver the champ. The Clippers are the one team I look at in the West. I can say, well, yeah, they actually match up with those guys, and player for player, they got a shot. So we'll see. You know what, Doug, man? I'm glad we started talking about this because the 2024 NBA Hall of Fame class just got announced recently, and every year when it comes out, I go straight to it because I want to see who got in. I want to make my decision on who I feel should or shouldn't be in, who got snubbed, just like we talked about with All-Star.
Right.
So I was looking at the class for 2024, and I didn't have a problem with it until I saw one name. Now people will say, man, y'all, man, don't hate on nobody. I'm not hating on. I'm speaking strictly on a basketball level.
Right.
I'm gonna read the list. You got.
All right.
I'm gonna say the name last. You got Vince Carter. Okay,
of course.
Yeah, automatic. Chauncey Billups, in my mind, automatic. Michael Cooper from the Showtime Lakers should have been in.
Oh,
in
yes.
my opinion. Simone Augustus.
Right.
They're bringing Jerry West in again in a different capacity.
Business capacity.
Yeah,
right.
different capacity. Okay, cool. I don't know who Herb Simon is. I'm not familiar with Bo Ryan, but I am familiar with Doug Collins and Walter Davis, Dick Barnett, Harley Reedon, and Michelle Tim. Not sure who they are.
Right.
But this last name, when I saw Charles Smith on the Hall of Fame list.
Yeah, Knicks flashbacks?
I had to make sure it was the same Charles Smith.
Right.
I said, hold on, this is not the Charles Smith that played college at Pitt and played for the Clippers and the Knicks and other teams in the NBA. And I looked it up and it was him. So I said, man, maybe I missed something. So I went to the stats.
Right.
Man, Charles Smith, if we could pull up the stats to make sure I ain't lying, I don't even think he have 10,000 career points in the NBA. Now, I could be wrong, but let's put it up. Go to this Wikipedia, whatever. He has some good seasons.
5 rebounds a game, 6 rebounds a game. With the Clippers, he had 8 rebounds a game.
Man, look.
Keep scrolling down.
Well, that's later years. He had decent seasons. Like, you look at 89, 90, he averaged 21 a game. The next year, 20 a game. He had some good seasons, but when you go to the total.
Right, is it at the bottom?
It's not enough. It's not enough.
Oh,
go to his Wikipedia.
Yeah,
it'll pull up his career stats or whatever. But my point is, the NBA has always been criticized as far as their Hall of Fame as being the easiest sport to make it to the Hall.
Right.
So my thought process, I'm like, okay, well, did he get in as some type of other type
executive
of contributor or executive
or
ambassador or something like that? And I didn't see it. I just didn't see it. So at the end of the day, man, I'm starting to wonder. Yeah, you got to put in basketball. I'm starting to wonder if the NBA is just that easy like everybody said. Because, baseball is hard to get in baseball.
Right,
it's almost impossible. You got guys with amazing stats that can't get in baseball. Then after a while, you're no longer even eligible to be on the ballot. Football, a little easier.
There he is. Charles Daniel Smith.
Okay, now scroll all the way down. Scroll down. Okay, then look to your right. Go up. Look at his career point.
8,000, not even 10,000 points.
3,000 rebounds. Man.
You're going to start a rec rant early, and that is, you got this man on the ballot, but there's no Robert Horry?
Bro, exactly.
Don't get me started, man.
Exactly. That's a
Don't get me started.
Point. That's a great point because, again, if somebody can show me another reason why they are putting Charles Smith in the Hall of Fame, then, okay, then I'll stand corrected. But to your point, Robert Horry.
Pull up Robert Horry's stats if they
7
compare. I got to
championships.
know.
That's a great point. 7 championships for Robert Horry.
Yeah, pull up his wiki
has
page.
Made some of the biggest, most clutch shots in NBA history. He is a guy who, had it not been for him, Akeem might not have any rings.
Yeah.
Shaq may not have any rings. Duncan may only have 2 or 3. Go out, scroll down. Okay, then look at the numbers.
You guys comparable numbers,
but he got way more rebounds, way
Right.
more assists, and less than 1,000 less points. But the career, the
Right.
accolades, the accomplishment, man, bro.
Not 1, not 2,
bro.
Not 3, not 4, not 5, 6, 7.
Bro,
He
7
got
championships.
more than Michael Jordan.
In the modern era, he has the most rings. The only people that have more rings than him are people that played for Boston in the 60s. Bill Russell and Havlicek and dudes like that. That's it.
I know.
So, no disrespect to Charles Smith, but dude, how did they come to that conclusion? Is this who you know? Is this okay? Well, he was a great guy, or he was the head of the Players Association. What went into this decision to where Robert Horry not even on the ballot?
Right.
And Rudy T mentioned that in his Hall of Fame speech.
Right.
He said, "Man, put Robert Horry in the Hall of Fame." So
right.
I don't understand it, bro. I don't understand it.
I mean, there was a point in time that I was rooting for Dennis Rodman to go in the Hall of Fame. I thought it would never happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever thought that.
No, I felt like Dennis would get in.
It did happen.
I felt like he would get in. You know,
right.
Dennis is another guy who has been so impactful on 5 championship teams to where, you know, the Bulls might not win those last 3 without Dennis.
Oh,
you know,
just
plain and simple. Just because what he brings is a guy who was a master in his role. And Robert Horry falls in that category. Nobody thinks about the impact that Charles Smith made. Charles Smith he played the finals that 1 year against the Rockets.
Yes.
And they lost.
Yeah.
And man, come on. Come on, man.
Perspective here, man.
Charles
come on,
Smith
where are they
the
getting
Hall
this?
And they put Walter Davis in, and Walter Davis just recently passed away. I hate that. I hate when you wait till a guy passes away, then all of a sudden, well, let's go and put him in now.
Right.
Like, you know, so shout out to Walter Davis. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Charles Smith for getting in. But I got a right to my opinion. There's no way on God's green earth that the numbers reflect. Even if you go to his college, because somebody going to say, well, this is not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's the basketball Hall. Okay, that's cool. Let's go back to college. Let's go. You can go back to high school. You're not going to convince me that Charles Smith should be in the Hall of Fame.
And I'm right there with you, man. And we mentioned Robert Horry, but there's probably so many laundry lists of players we could go through and say, hey, this guy belongs. Charles Smith.
Bro, look. Before I put Charles Smith in the Hall of Fame, I would put Charles Oakley in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's true.
Charles Oakley had a better career than Charles Smith.
Oh yeah, tons of rebounds.
I'm trying to factor in the decision process. You know, that's all I'm saying. Like say, baseball is hell to get in. It's tough. You're not gonna just Magaka had 250 wins and 2,000 strikeouts, and they'll look and say, nah, you know. But basketball is getting to where, Doug, we might got a shot to get in. Because like we
push the right buttons.
It's not the NBA Hall, it's just basketball, right? I got enough hood points. My jersey's hanging up in McGregor Park, so I mean I should be able to get in.
Let's get K. Reno on the NBA Hall of Fame ballot. I mean, on the
why not?
Naismith Hall of Fame ballot. Let's do
Put
this.
your boy in, man. Put your boy in, Adam Silver or whoever, Colangelo, put me in.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, we're going to round up the basketball section here. Is I do want to mention 3 teams.
Yeah.
The Timberwolves and the Thunder in the West. Is this fool's gold? What's going on here? And I can't help but mention I do secretly have a little spot for the Knicks.
Yeah.
I really do, man. I love the organization, always have, and let alone they almost can't beat us that year.
Yeah, but I'll answer your question though. You asked me did I think that Minnesota and the Thunder were fool's gold, and I wouldn't call them fool's gold, but what I will say is that the way the West is and the way the league is, you could be in that 1 or 2 spot one year, and next year you're struggling for 4, 5, 6 and play in.
Right.
Because with Minnesota, that front line is solid with the Cat and Rudy Gobert, and all. Then in the backcourt you got Anthony Edwards. Now, how long Mike Conley can hold up in that spot at the point, that's going to be the question. They're going to have to make some improvement. They got that young dude, McDaniels, the wing guy who lockdown defender. So they got pieces in place. Same with OKC. You know, you got Shea, you got Jalen Williams, and you got Chet. So they got a good foundation, but injury here and now, or just a bad start, or some janky can happen at any minute where you hear this year, and then the next year you down. And personally, I'm hoping for it. I want to see my Rockets sneak up into one of those spots. It's so tough. Look at Sacramento. Right. Sacramento was a real high seed last year, Now they in a play-in this year, just 1 year removed, same guys. So, you know, they were looked at this time last year, they were looked at as that team that, okay, they on the way. And now they took a step back. So, man, you just don't never know, man. You never know.
You point out about the Timberwolves, man. How this turned out to be the Hall of Fame show, I don't know, but you're talking maybe potentially 4 Hall of Famers on that squad. I mean, Conley, Edwards. I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself, but they have that potential. Gobert.
They got a ways to go because, like I say, Conley is
probably
he got less years ahead of them than he had. Conley been in the league. Conley played with the grinded out Grizzlies back with Zach Randolph and all them was playing Rudy Gay now. So he's on the way out at some point, even though he's playing good. But Cat still young, Anthony Edwards still young, and Rudy still got some years left. But yeah, they are that Rudy 3-4 time defensive player of the year. Yeah, I can see those guys having some Hall of Fame, you know, people at some point.
Well, it should eventually make some noise. Who knows? It might be their year, you know.
Yeah, it could be. They rooted in defense. When you got those big guys and Rudy in the back, and like say Rudy and on the back line and McDaniels on the wing and other guys just buy in, they got a good – when you play defense, you got a shot. That's just what it boiled down. But Denver's so smart, man. They got the chemistry. They got the pieces, got the coaching. So, and I think Denver is 2 seed.
Yeah.
OKC is –
maybe 3 seed, no?
I think
it's a log jam at the top.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. But see, because I look at home court, and but a lot of times, sometimes home court don't matter because Sac had home court against Golden State last year in Game 7. Steph and popped them in their head for 50 and sent them home. So you know, experience have a lot to do with it too.
Right. Do we say the Warriors or the Lakers are that dark horse that maybe they can catch fire? Maybe they can.
When you look at what Miami did last year, coming from the play-in all the way to the finals, you look at what the Lakers did last year, coming from the play-in all the way to the conference finals, then, yeah, of course, the Lakers have already shown that they can do it. You know, the Warriors, you can't count them out because of
the midseason tournament proved it, right?
Yeah. Well, but the Warriors got that core that's been there, those 3 guys, and, you know, then you got people like Chris Paul and Wiggins and guys with veteran guys. So, I mean, it can happen. But, you know, back to my Rockets real quick, those 2 teams were much better than us.
Right.
The Lakers were 9th, Golden State was 10th, and we was 11th. So, I'm not putting a lot of stock into the Warriors and the Lakers because if the rule wasn't changed, they wouldn't even be in the playoffs.
Yep.
They'll be just like us on planning vacation right now. So I don't get too high on it. It just the play-in tournament just gives you another shot to make a miracle, like I said, like what Miami did, what the Lakers did. But neither one of them, in my opinion, are gonna get nothing out the pot this season. They're not gonna go to the make no amazing run to the championship. All of those guys, whatever happens, whoever makes it into the playoffs, every series is gonna be on the road. You know, I just don't see it.
No, man. We'll see how it all plays out. But if we switch gears to the WNBA, and they had their draft recently. I don't know if you watched the draft.
I didn't see it, but
I saw a little of it. But as Clark went first, the girl from LSU, she got drafted high. Reese.
Yeah, Angel Reese, yeah. And is her name Mendoza, South Carolina? 6'7" girl. She went high. She went in the top 3, I think. And then there was somebody else that went high. I didn't watch the draft, but I think it's going to be – I think it's a strong, deep draft.
Right.
It's deep. It's deep. You know, we just got to see how everybody fits wherever they land. I know Caitlin Clark went to Indiana, you know, so we'll see. Where did Reese go? Where did Angel Reese go? Can we pull that up? Is there a way to find out where she went?
Can you pull it up? I believe it was Sparks.
She went to Sparks?
I'm probably wrong, but –
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, I mean,
they're talking about adding 2 more teams into the WNBA. I guess that's good.
Have they announced cities? I'd love to see.
I don't know
Houston
yet.
Get a team again.
But I hope so, man.
They sitting at what, 12?
I think it's 12 teams or 14 teams.
Yeah. Well, I would love to see the Comets come back.
Oh yes.
You know, that would be dope because we don't get a lot of love in the see when a team is just defunct and no longer around, it's easily for history to lose you. because now people are like, oh, that was ancient history when that happened. That's like
right, the comments never happened.
The Buffalo Braves or something, the Cincinnati Royals or something like that in the NBA. It's like,
she drafted 7th all by the sky.
Okay, Chicago. Okay,
Chicago.
All right, yeah. And see, I'm looking at fit. Like if she goes to a team that really needs her to step in and be whatever, then I think it'll work out. Yeah. But she went 7th.
Right.
That's kind of low.
Yeah.
That's kind of low, man. She got some work to do in her game, but I thought she would go higher. So.
And there's a lot of talk, of course, of their salaries are not, on par with NBA players. I think that's a whole other show.
Yeah.
But it's worth mentioning here, since they're going to be adding hopefully more teams, these new players, bring a new audience. Hopefully more people start watching it. The main thing here is, I want to point out, when you talk about it's unequal, women don't get paid as much as the men, you got to get the women watching the game. Women watch, the Kardashians. They don't watch the WNBA, right? So I like the prospect of these younger women seeing Clark and seeing Reese and start watching the game as men do, right? And get the attendance up, get them more money so they can get paid.
And that's the thing, too, Doug, because at the same time, what is paid is based on what's generated.
Right.
So I don't know if the WNBA players are saying that they should make the same amount as the men. But if they are, hopefully that's not what they're saying, because mathematically it doesn't make sense. The NBA is a multi-billion-dollar industry that's generating billions and billions of dollars, so they're able to pay one guy $35 million, one guy $40, one guy $50. Jaylen Brown, who's not even the best player in the league, he may not even be a top 10 guy, is making the biggest salary that's ever been made. So the WNBA players, or anybody who may think that, y'all got to understand, you can't just say, well, we're going to give this WNBA player $25, $30 million a year. The league ain't generating that.
Yeah.
And the numbers have shown where they have lost $10 million a year on average
the NBA
in the last few
subsidizes
years. The NBA is like, hold on, like, come on, how much longer? So that's the whole point. It's like the math got to make sense. So anybody that tries to post that argument, they're not looking at numbers.
Right.
You got to, if this guy, you got Stephen Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, anybody else you can name that's carrying this league, these are marquee names that people pay to see, that people buy their jerseys, that corporations put money into to endorse and sponsor.
Right.
And that's generating money. The WNBA don't have that. So, I'm happy for any of those female players who, like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, who were able to get NIL money in college, because it allows them to, if I want to stay, I'm good. I don't just have to rush into it. But the average salary in the WNBA is probably around $80,000, somewhere up in there. And you can't expect to get what you don't generate. That's just reality.
It's a tough subject, man.
I can't tell the record label to give me, man, I need $5 million, but I only sold 100 copies.
Right.
It don't work like that. So,
well, on the football, the NFL, we're still waiting on the draft, see what the Texans are going to do. Texans, they didn't make any more moves, but they're so favored now. You hear Super Bowl talk, Super Bowl this, Super Bowl.
I'm getting scared now, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hopefully they don't jinx us.
With the bed. Well, no, I mean, I think that they have the personnel in place and the character guys in place that will be up to the challenge of the pressure that's coming with this year. No expectations last year. This year is like, yeah, target is on your back. We looking at y'all, what y'all going to do. And there are people who are projecting them. I haven't heard anybody project them to go Super Bowl, but I have heard people project them to challenge the Kansas City and the Baltimores of the league in the AFC. So that's still a weight that you got to carry. And and looking at it on paper, then you say, yeah, they could challenge, but paper ain't never played a game in his life.
Right.
So you actually got to get out there on the field and execute it and put it in motion for it to make sense. But if they stay healthy, pieces that they have in place, with what they've added, yeah, they can challenge. They can challenge.
And we're going to segue. We're on football already, but could not help but pay tribute to OK Simpson. Right. He passed away this last week, and OJ, man, that's it's also he was shrouded in controversy over the court case and the murder case and whatnot. But I want to focus on him as a person, him as a sports figure, him as an icon. As a young boy, I remember him running through the airport on the Hertz commercials, right? Like, who is this man? Yeah. Jumping over the counter, jumping over the luggage, and he had such charisma, and he got into acting and comedies, and what a career he had. But when he ran for the Buffalo Bills, man, these seasons only have 14 games a season,
right? And
he's running for over 2,000 yards. He's returning the ball. These are records that'll never be broken, man. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, get eclipsed, if you will, of the trial or whatnot, and it's a real gray area. I don't know. It's hard to put into words, but I want to remember. We got some clips here, Reggie, of video clips of OJ.
Yeah,
let's see. He was on Roots. That was another big show on TV. Everybody went home after school and watched at home in their living room, and OJ was a part of that.
He was in the broadcast too. He was
a broadcaster.
See, OJ's life consisted of two halves. It was like a football game. First half and the second half. And the first half, he was OK Simpson, the great athlete everybody loved, and then that back half of his life was shrouded in that controversy that was based around the murder case, and he spent that back half. I think he was probably 46 when that whole thing went down, and him dying at 76. So his last 30 years, his life was, had to be a tough situation. Yeah, challenging because there were so many people, and still are so many, because you got people who were celebrating because they, in their mind, they're like, OJ did it. You can't tell me he didn't do it. There's nothing you can do to convince me. Then you got a few people that's like, well, now, whether he did it or not, OJ sold out the black community. We don't like OJ. That's what he get.
Right.
And then you got other people that's like, well, nah, man, it's too much evidence that points to him not doing it. So it's all over the place. But one thing that can't be denied was on that football field. He was a bad, bad man on that football field, like you saying, rushing for 2,000 yards in 14 games. I mean, just an amazing physical athlete and an amazing talent on the field, man. And we haven't seen it since. The speed, the agility, certain guys that when you argue about past time all the way up into the modern time, there are certain names, only a handful of names in any sport that you say, oh, he could have played now. We could pluck him out and stick him in the league right now. To me, OJ is one of those guys that you drop him in the league right now, he gonna still be
timeless,
a bad
player,
dude.
Right.
Yeah. So, love him or hate him, think what you want to think about him. He's one of the greatest ever. And I have seen too many times where other people who have been clearly convicted, clearly guilty of things far worse or just as heinous of what they accuse OJ, they don't get vilified the way he did.
Right.
So, we might catch a lot of backlash for our stance on OJ, but I don't care. It is what it is.
We're gonna tie this knot real nice here, right? Like tying your shoes like a pretty little bow, right? And that's tying it all back with OJ and Legends 34 in the city of Houston, right? And that comes in Game 5, Knicks versus the Rockets, right? Now, You're a little sharper about this than me. So game 1, we lose to the Knicks here.
No, they won. They won game
See,
one.
up to you sharper than me.
Game
two. So that's 1-1.
Yeah.
We went to Madison Square Garden. Game 3,
they won.
So Rockets up 2-1.
Yeah.
Then game 4 comes, Knicks win.
Yeah.
So now it's tied 2-2.
Right.
And now this pivotal game 5, if I'm not mistaken, is the Sam I Am game?
No, the Sam I Am game was game 3 when he hit the shot. That was game 3 in the Garden.
Yes, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Game 5, they lost, but because they came back home down 3-2.
Correct,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
But this game 5, OJ goes on the run, and he's in the white Bronco, and the broadcast is switching between the game and OJ, right? What were your feelings at the time?
At the time,
You
I
were
was
pissed
mad.
off? I was
I'm like, man, I'm watching the game.
I don't care. It's
This
about
game 5, Rockets in the championship for the first time
man.
since the 80s. And I'm like, man, why is y'all cutting away to this, dude?
Yes,
I'm trying to see
they
the
were
game.
cutting away from the game to show. It's like,
These famous words that we heard growing up that you don't really hear a lot these days because there's so many channels. We interrupt this program. But it wasn't many cable channels back then. It's like it is now.
Right.
It wasn't no social media like it is now. That would never happen today because they would have so many outlets that you could immediately flip to catch what's going on, and you could still watch the game and OJ at the same time. But yeah, it was crazy.
plus, OJ
man.
would be on TikTok live and streaming it live.
Oh yeah, people would be on the freeway with going live on Instagram, and it just was a different time. But OJ being still that popular sports figure that he was,
Right.
they felt it necessary. Hey man, we got to go to this right now. The murders had just happened. You know what I'm saying? I think maybe the day before, something along
Right.
those lines. So it was like, okay, a follow up. But nah, that would never happen today. But to your point, I was aggravated because I'm in mind. I'm like, all right, well, hurry it up now. Let's get back to the game. We don't know the score.
Right.
We can't go to ESPN.com and see. There's no way to watch it.
We're trying to put it on the radio, 610
Now,
or 740.
You could probably catch it on the radio,
Right.
but I don't want to hear it. This the finals. So yeah, that was crazy, man. That was crazy. But I was mad. I wouldn't
Right.
like that at all. I could have put this on. Go to channel 11 or something. Like, go to a different channel, bro. Yeah.
Right, but what a perfect way to pay tribute to OJ in his life and his career in sports, and tying it all back to the day OJ pissed us off as Houston Rockets
bad,
fans.
Yeah. We didn't know the severity. Now we watching it like, man, they trying to say OJ did it.
Right.
Like, wow, because that hadn't come out yet, you
Yeah.
know. But nah, man, I was more into the game. Don't keep it real.
All right. Well, usually moving into baseball, but there's really not a lot of Astros news at the moment. I mean, I believe they're 6-11. They won a couple against the Rangers.
200 more games.
Right. Right.
Still too early.
But it's worth mentioning in the flashback from last episode, we talked a little bit about the strike zone and the computers taking over. I had looked into this, and actually in tennis, as of 2025, their Hawkeye computing system that does the line judge will be taking over officially the job of the umpires in tennis. So it'll be all digital computer in tennis as of next year, right? So whether they keep the system or they eventually abandon it, it's still worth mentioning where some of the sports is heading and new technologies, taking human element out of it.
Messed up, man, because somebody gonna lose their job.
Right.
It's like you've been working as an ump, and I guess a tennis ump's got the easiest job where you just sitting up at the high seat up there and out,
Right.
and probably making good money. So if they do that, a lot of people gonna be unemployed, bro.
Right.
But tennis, sport of tennis is probably looking at how to save that money. But everything is flawed. You know that the human side is flawed, but the technology is going to be flawed. It's going to be something wrong. It's going to be something wrong with that. People ride around right now, in 30 years ago, if we needed to know somewhere to go, ask direction to use a map.
Right.
You know,
gas
now you
station
got
map.
GPS, and people put their address in GPS and still get lost. It
Right.
happens. You know, you'll get there most of the time, but it's times where, oh man, the GPS took. So, you know, it's going to be, the technology is going to still have some flaws to it. So we just got to see. It just ain't going to be nobody for the players to argue with.
Like we said last episode, right? What happened to the Johnny McEnroe arguments, throwing the racket, and Serena getting into it with it.
And that's part of the entertainment.
Right. That's part of the game, but it's going to be gone now.
When we talked about with the umpires, how the umpires going to come out and do out, it's like, that's what they're going to show on the sports shows at night. When Serena gets into it with the umpire and all that, they're going to show that. So now that's not there no more. You know, was somebody gonna take the racket and knock the
computer
the computer off the thing? So I don't know. It's what it is.
Well, let's see how far this, these computers takes us to sports. Already having all this recalls and replays in the NBA, man. They still getting wrong, man. It's annoying now when they do the challenges, man. But
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I said they just come up with different ways to try to say they're getting it right. When I grew up, NBA had 2 referees.
That's it.
I remember the year they added the 3rd referee onto the court because it was for that reason. It's like, well, 2 refs can't catch everything and they missing calls, so they added a 3rd guy. They still miss calls. I mean, it ain't nothing you're not gonna ever perfect the system. You're not gonna perfect it. You just got to just do the best you can and hope that it doesn't cost somebody a big game at the wrong moment.
Right. And this will segue us into computers and sports, video games and sports, which is the segment I wanted to talk about. And that is video games influences on us that were sporting games, right? To eventually how it has now come full circle, how now video games have impacted sports themselves, right? But we want to go back here, right? Personally, Tecmo Bowl for the Nintendo. I didn't even know how football worked, right? I love basketball. I like playing baseball. But I thought, I'm a kid. I don't understand how football works. But Tecmo Bowl comes out. I play it for the first time. I'm learning what a running back is. I'm learning what a play is, a receiver, the quarterback. I get immediately addicted, not only to playing Tecmo Bowl, but American football for the first time, right? And you alluded to Genesis and Madden, right? The first iterations of Madden on the Genesis, which now led to Madden we now know, but the speed of the game when you were playing it before that, right? Remember the football games before that? They were all slow and clunky, but the Madden on Sega Genesis was fast-paced, and you're talking shit to your opponent, and it was also 2-player, right? Yeah, I want to talk a bit about that. What's your experiences with Tecmo Bowl, and or was there other football games?
Yeah, it was my first dive into the game. We had old electric football things with the men where you put the bases under and then you click the thing and
it vibrates.
Yeah, then that was mine.
Right.
All the way to the handheld. They had a little handheld thing with a little line, little dots, and you find your way through the hole, and you get. That was the my first. Then of course, once it got to the video games, they had Atari, EcoVision, television, all that stuff. By the time Tecmo Bowl came, all that, that was different. But Madden revolutionized it because I think when Madden first came out, that was, I think, people's kind of first look of a video game of a sport that looked so similar to the real. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though it still had the little cartoonish
of the real, right?
Ran the plays and all that stuff. Madden was the first thing. Now, the way it advanced to now, I was walking through a mall years ago, and in one of the shops, they had screens and stuff up there, and I'm passing by on like a Saturday in the mall, and I'm like, they had a game on today. And it was a video game.
Playing today?
And it was a video.
Right.
That's how it looked so real that I had to lean in like, man, yo,
wow,
that's how far that has come, So You know, technology is a fool, man. And now Madden is so big to where I thought this was a joke. People are literally like using Madden play, like taking it like this could be something that you could really use, like in me coaching my little league team or
Right.
me coaching in high school. I got this play off of Madden. So I mean, that's how.
Let alone there are
the game is.
professional Madden players now. There's leagues where they're playing for money.
Big money, big stake tournament. I got
Big
homies
money, man. It's crazy.
I got homies that have played in those tournament leagues, and so I mean it's big. It's big. I've seen they used to have a Madden tournament, the leagues on ESPN.
Right.
So anything that they determine that could be lucrative and make some bread, oh yeah, they gonna incorporate.
Basketball video games, right? In my mind's eye, the first one that really, like the Madden, if you will, that had made that benchmark was NBA Live 95 on Super Nintendo. It was the first basketball game I ever had. Kind of the whole court perspective, and the players were fast-paced. You had a turbo for the first time, right? You could do behind the back, and but now you see these NBA games. Wow, like again, you think you're watching a real game.
Yeah, that's why I say they come a long way, man. Because and I fell off. I don't even play them anymore. I fell off back in the Dreamcast days. But they had games even back then that during that time, early 2000s, they was like, man, this stuff like you feel like. Because it was things you did in the game on a video game that was like the real game. So yeah, and then but now they got it to where they got the ratings and they try to get the players' abilities on the video game closest.
What it is in real life, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
So it's a lot to it, and the cats that play those games, you know, they really into it, man. It's deep, man, really deep.
Man, it's funny you brought up Dreamcast. Dreamcast was an amazing system to itself, but I remember. It was one of the first NBA games. I think it was NBA 2K1, I believe. And you could play online on a dial-up connection. It was mind-blowing at the time, right? We were playing guys from, China or whatever. And they had the keyboards hooked into the Dreamcast. So they're sitting there typing, talking shit to us while they're up by 40 points.
Wow.
That system was so revolutionary, the Dreamcast.
Yeah. Now, that one got by me.
Right.
But like I say, it was so much fun. We was addicted. Madden and all that.
Right.
Me, AC Chill, my homies Z, KO, man, we was addicted, bro. Like bad, like barricaded in the house for days playing Madden and playing
Who was your team?
Game. When I played Madden, I had San Francisco for it.
Oh, all right.
They had Montana.
Oh yeah.
Montana.
Jerry Rice is out here.
And Jerry Rice and John Taylor on the other side. But Charles Hader was super fast.
Ronnie Lott, anybody?
Yeah, was Lott on that team. That was early 90s. But they came out. First basketball game was one. I forgot the name of it, but it had Spurs, Lakers, Celtics. I think it was called Lakers versus Celtics. That was the name of the game.
Okay, yes.
But it had 4 teams: Pistons, Lakers, Celtics, Spurs, and that was the first basketball game that we played on the video. I don't remember if it was I think it was on Genesis. Just crazy how far that stuff came.
Right.
Crazy how and how much it was a scam because they would come out with Madden 91, then the next year, of course, Madden 92, and they would only tweak one little thing. They would change one little piece of it, but we go out and still spend that $49-$50 or whatever.
They're still doing the same thing.
They just
unfortunately
add, like the iPhones and all. They just add a little feature there, and they get that money all over again. So yeah, we got hustled. Our addictions caused us to buy into the hustle, man, because we love being hooked on it.
And also want to mention, Nintendo came out with the Wii system. Early 2000s. Of course, it was a big influence on my family and my kids. But to me personally, because I had always loved golf, but I never played. But I started playing on Wii Sports, Tiger Woods golf, actually with King Edward. What's up, Edward? Me and Edward started playing. So we started going to the real course. Started playing real golf, right? Because of the education, if you will, of Wii Sports teaching how to play it on a video game, right? again, video games and sports, how this is hand in hand now, which was not heard of, years ago, but now look how far it's come, which ends this segment about EA Sports themselves and how they inadvertently or advertently have now opened Pandora's box, because years ago when they started doing NCAA college games, basketball, NCAA football, they were using players' likenesses and names, not paying nobody nothing. Well, eventually, that culminated in a lawsuit, which now college athletes are now getting paid in college. I mean, what are your feelings on that?
No, I mean, rightfully so. You go all the way back to the Fab Five.
Yes, thank you.
And the trends that those guys set with baggy shorts, this whole look that they created, and everybody duplicating in popularity of the team. Now you got Jalen Rose jerseys and Chris Webber jerseys that being sold, and people are making money off this, but they're not making money. And soon as a player gets discovered that a player took $500 from somebody that they
Chris Webber, mom got some grocery money.
Yeah, they gonna vilify you and shut you down and make you into this big, make it a big scandal and all. So now it's always been hypocrisy, college sports, because they have always generated millions and millions of dollars and used those players' likenesses to do so.
I'm glad you used that example because according to the NCAA, the Fab Five don't exist. They ripped all the banners down. They're in this warehouse somewhere.
Yeah. Well,
they don't acknowledge any of the wins they have.
That's why I use the word hypocrisy, because they say the Fab Five don't exist, but the money that y'all made off of them exists is somewhere, and somebody benefited off of it, and maybe still are benefiting off of it. So it's hypocritical to try to besmirch their name and reputation when they were playing the dirtiest game of them all. It's always been like, you go to a college football game, man, some of these stadiums hold 100,000 people. They getting this every week. They generating this money, these popular players, and I got to still be in the dorm eating ramen noodles,
right.
And if anybody outside of mom and daddy helps me at all, then I could lose my Heisman, I could lose my scholarship, I can get kicked off the team, man. It's dirty, and it always has been. So, the NIL thing is cool because it gives those players opportunity to financially benefit from their talents. But, I'm still in the minds. I still feel like more could be done.
Right, and then you got players that we were talking about earlier, Caitlin Clark. This is kind of an equalizer. Yeah, you'll make $80,000 or $100,000 in WNBA, but how much money can? Well, I believe she made some sponsorships while she was at Iowa, if I'm not mistaken, because of the new ruling.
Yeah.
But the point is, from future here on out, that these players, college women players, can make good money being sponsored in college, athletics.
And like I say again, I keep it hypocritical because the NCAA gets mad at players who maybe are one and done.
Right.
They were leaving early. It's like, so now they're saying, well, we got to fix this. We got to change the rule in the NBA. You can't come out of, they try to make you can't come straight out of high school, because college wants to make millions off of these players and to not give them, it's almost like streaming in music. You make all this money, don't give the artist anything. So they want to make all this money, then get mad if I come play 1 year and then I leave.
Right.
And then the coaches will complain, well, the problem is it's done. Nobody stays 4 years anymore. It's like, okay, well, give them a reason,
right?
An incentive to stay 4 years. Then maybe if I'm a little comfortable financially, I don't have to rush out even before I'm ready. Because some guys, they may not even be ready for the NBA level, but they come out because, okay, I'm projected to still be middle first round or second round. I'm gonna get in. I got to make some money. So don't do it like that.
I'll go further, man. You bring up a good point. And I know this is a sports show and all, but these are young men, young women who are trying to get a degree. a bachelor's or a master's, right? But like you're saying, there's no incentive to stay. Well, I can make my money and go to the NBA or go wherever. They're going to stay in. Like you see a lot of athletes, they went back, right? Yeah. NBA, and they went back and got their degrees. Well, now maybe with this, like you said, they can feel comfortable enough to get their bachelor's, get their master's, have a backup plan if
that's what they want to do.
If it doesn't go to court, they get injured, right?
I can tell you, look, a lot of these cats, just keep it real, they ain't worried about no degree. They came strictly to play sports and get to the NBA.
Right.
And then it's like, hey, man, I had to major in something. So if I choose to go back, because y'all criticize me. To me, it's the dumbest thing in the world for me to be worth $300 or $400 million and then be trying to go back to college and get a degree.
Right.
That's dumb to me. It's like, why? You can be any type of business person that you want to be now because you generated this kind of revenue. So now it's well, I just wanted to complete that task. Okay, that's what you want. That's cool. But if you really in your mind are thinking that me as a $400 million man, even $20 million, $10 million, that I have to really protect myself by going back to get this degree just in case, that's crazy to me.
Right,
that's crazy. You blow that money, that's on you. But that's how a lot of our young athletes have been conditioned to think. I gotta go back and get, man, worry about that degree, man. You can start 9 businesses. Call Magic or somebody and ask them, hey, man, how'd you get going into this and that and this and that? If you just want the accolade, go get it. They can miss me with that.
And to be fair, flip the coin over. We're, going in on EA or whatnot. But as my daughter, she's always somehow segueing on this show, right? But she pointed out something that's very interesting if you're not familiar with this. On the latest MLB game, you can play as a woman, but she's playing for the Astros. She's got like 80 home runs, but she gets to play as a woman with men in the game construct, right? Yeah. Which is a whole new element that video games bring to the players, because there's a lot of women who play video games, right? Let alone somebody might want to play as, Reese with the Chicago Bulls, right? You know what I'm saying? A woman can, or a man can do that if you want, but these are new options being built into these video games.
I don't have a problem with on a video game. It's like it is what it is. I guess I can put Tiger Woods in the NBA if I wanted to. I can build a player, but I mean, it just, I don't see no issue with that.
Right.
As long as they don't transfer and them thinking that she could actually play in the real NBA or something like that. I mean, but reality is reality.
To be fair, EA, so this whole segment I was going in on them, and what they've done, they've changed college sports as we know it, you know what I'm saying? But yet, they won't put K Reno's EA Sports introduction on any of their video games, man. What's with that?
I'm a different kind of guy, man. And that probably was maybe 12 years, 10, 12 years. It's been so long, I don't even think about that. But to this day, I contend I still made coldest song.
I agree.
In that realm, but for whatever reason, they didn't want to use it.
And whoever's watching this, I know y'all sick and tired of me talking about it. Well, stop the video and go look up K Reno EA Sports song, man. I'm telling you, there's two versions too, and there's two versions.
This is the sports me. The other me is like I'm the establishment. Don't rock with that guy. So I mean, I was glad I made the song.
Right.
I'm not upset. Shout out to my homie Sean Coffey, who kind of set up the circumstances for me to make the song. But yeah, I know in my heart that it was a cold song.
Well, I think we're rounding third again, but I did want to bring up some in the show usually with some obscure sports, and I wanted to show you one. See your thoughts that you never play golf.
Yeah.
Well, I was on a trip recently, and in my mom's passing, we were staying at some hotels, and you get to see some of the weirdest sports, right, on some of these channels. And I've stumbled upon something called FLING GOLF.
Yeah.
Have you heard of this? FLING. Check this out.
So that means that two people
having a fling on the golf course.
On the golf course. Nah.
Go to YouTube. Look on YouTube, man. Yeah. And
Nah,
what
I've
it is,
never heard that.
what it is, it's like your club is about this yay long.
Yeah.
Let's call it a fishing pole.
Yeah.
You ever been fishing for it, casting
Long
out?
time ago.
Well, the balls and the bat, the golf ball, you get to play on regular golf courses, by the way. See, this is the club.
Okay.
Fling, see it?
Okay.
And on the end is a putter, but it's a basket. Pull up this footage right here. Yeah. I always want to show my dad this. Say, Dad, would you try this? Because he don't like golf either. I was like, I wonder if because he loves fishing, you know what I'm saying? Right. And on your close shots, you underhand.
Oh, okay.
Right, this is where the longest he's in the trap.
Come on, man. Oh, they just come up with all kind of stuff. How popular is this?
This is brand new as far as I know.
Man, I've been flung that thing and hit somebody in the head. Maybe Tiger need to get into this.
There you go. Some more his speed.
Out of there.
Would you try it?
Man, I would try it just to say I tried it. I don't see it being something that I would be. So, do you ever use the actual putter? Do you ever?
When you're on the putting green, you'll flip it over and use the end of it as a putter.
So right there, he would.
You see, now he's going to use the other end of it. Well, see, these are other shots. See, you can, like, you're right off the green, you can kind of scoop it on.
Man, what would they think of?
There's
next?
a putter.
Man, you tell your rotator cuffs trying to. Well, the pickleball caught on. I don't see.
Yeah, they got those all over.
Yeah.
I saw one in Houston the other day.
So you're going to get out there, you're going to get us a shot?
I'd like to try it.
Yeah,
I think these clubs are a little pricey. It's a proprietary club, I think. I think they're a couple $100 or something. But maybe But what's cool is maybe the golf course, you play with normal clubs.
Yeah.
Maybe they let you rent some of these clubs out and play the course as Fling Golf, right?
Yeah, like
offering it to their customers, right?
Right.
So it's interesting in that regard.
They're gonna be making money soon. Generating some bread.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Fling Golf. If you've never heard of Fling Golf, you have a fling on the golf course. But I guess this is going to end the show. Anything you wanted to shout out before we go?
Man, y'all just subscribe to the channel, spread the word, let everybody know. Got things, and we got more to come. We haven't even really scratched the surface. So for those who are coming in, trickling in to the podcast, spread the word. You want to be on the ground floor when the thing pops out.
Right. And I'm still in the talks with Richard. Maybe we get him on the show, get some sports.
No doubt. We're going to have
figures
guests
on
real
here
soon. We'll start bringing in some guests soon so y'all can get some insight other than us.
Right.
Y'all to be able to hear from people who actually did it on professional levels in all sports.
And for those that don't know, he also has this man 24/7, right? Also an underground
Dialogue podcast. Follow us follow me on Instagram, The Real K Reno #1. YouTube channel, The Real K Reno. We active, man. We active. We working.
Plus 2 new albums, Audio Optics, and 7-hour block.
And about 50-something more before that.
Anyway, this is going to be Legends 34 Sports Podcast, and hope to see you next time. Drop a comment, subscribe. See y'all next time. Peace.
Yeah.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
The Houston Astros are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
This is the Legends 34 Sports Podcast with your host, hosts, K Reno and DJ Rec.